The elusive Mr. X and the web of deception, a deep dive into America's most notorious cons. On a chilly April evening in 2012, the grainy footage from a Portland storage facility's security cameras told a story of a man who had spent a lifetime hiding in plain sight. The figure shuffling toward locker 646 moved with the weary gait of someone carrying the weight of decades of deception, a far cry from the confident intelligence operative who had once navigated the highest echelons of power with ease. This was Mr. X, a ghost in the system whose true identity remained one of law enforcement's most persistent mysteries. Inside that nondescript storage unit lay the artifacts of a life built on lies, forged documents, meticulously crafted aliases, and perhaps clues to answering the question that had haunted investigators for years. Who was this man really? The locker's contents would eventually reveal connections to Cold War-era espionage networks, but the full truth remains locked away in classified files, a testament to how thoroughly some shadows resist illumination. While Mr. X's story unfolded in whispers and half-truths, another audacious con was playing out in broad daylight, exploiting one of America's most sacred trusts, its reverence for military service. Dr. Patrick Bray, a Navy veteran turned physician, became one of thousands unwittingly ensnared by the U.S. Navy Veterans Association, USNVA, a charity so elaborately fabricated it could rival a spy thriller's plot. The organization's glossy brochures boasted of 66,000 members and a legacy stretching back to 1927, while its CEO, supposedly one Jack Nimitz, a name suspiciously echoing the legendary Admiral Chester Nimitz, appeared to have materialized from thin air. In reality, the entire operation was the brainchild of Bobby Thompson, a con artist whose genius lay in understanding exactly how to weaponize patriotism. Over nearly a decade, Thompson's scheme siphoned an astonishing $100 million from well-meaning donors, with telemarketers keeping 85 cents of every dollar raised. His ability to infiltrate political circles was perhaps the most brazen aspect of the scam. Photo ops with presidents and presidential candidates lent an air of legitimacy that silenced doubts before they could form. Yet, like all empires built on lies, Thompson's began to crumble when investigative journalists noticed the cracks. Board members who didn't exist, charitable programs that left no paper trail, and a commander living in a Tampa hovel papered with conspiracy theories. As Thompson's house of cards trembled, another spectacular downfall was reaching its climax in Detroit, where Kwame Kilpatrick, the city's once celebrated hip-hop mayor, was learning that no amount of charisma can outrun accountability. Elected at 31 as Detroit's youngest mayor, Kilpatrick embodied the hope of a city desperate for renewal. His administration, however, quickly became a case study in systemic corruption, where city contracts became family heirlooms, and the mayor's father, Bernard Kilpatrick, operated as the unofficial gatekeeper through his sham consulting firm, Maestro Associates. The text message scandal that first exposed Kilpatrick's affair with Chief of Staff Christine Beatty was merely the loose thread that, when pulled, unraveled an entire tapestry of graft. Federal investigators would uncover a criminal enterprise so brazen it treated municipal government as a personal ATM, with kickbacks flowing as freely as water in the Detroit River. Kilpatrick's eventual 28-year prison sentence stood as a stark warning about the corrosive effects of unchecked power, and a reminder that the same charm that builds political legends can also enable their destruction. While politicians and faux philanthropists played their high-stakes games, a quieter but equally devastating fraud was proliferating in the digital shadows. Military romance scams, often orchestrated by sophisticated Nigerian crime rings, preyed upon one of humanity's most vulnerable emotions, the longing for connection. Lilo Schuster's story was heartbreaking in its familiarity. A successful chiropractor who believed she'd found love with Officer Adam Smith, a widowed pilot deployed overseas. The request started small, $2,700 for his daughter's school trip, framed as a temporary loan between soulmates. By the time she realized Adam was a fiction, an estimated $1 billion annually to such schemes, the case of Tracy Vassar reveals one of fraud's cruelest ironies: how easily victims can become accomplices. A struggling Colorado single mother, Vassar believed she was helping Sergeant Kells Klein with a military charity. What began as small money transfers snowballed into her unwittingly laundering stolen funds. Her bank accounts converted into pipelines for a Nigerian crime ring. Like many victims turned mules, she was manipulated through her desire to belong to something meaningful, with scammers reframing criminal activity as patriotic duty. These operations expose a disturbing truth of our digital age. With nothing more than stolen photos and psychological insight, con artists weaponize compassion, leaving behind financial ruin and emotional scars. What connects Vassar's story to Bobby Thompson's fake veterans charity, Kwame Kilpatrick's corruption, and Mr. X's espionage-tinged mystery is their exploitation of fundamental human instincts. We want to believe in noble causes, strong leaders, and transcendent love, and grifters know exactly how to craft lies that cater to these desires. Thompson posed as a decorated Navy officer, leveraging America's reverence for veterans to siphon $100 million. Kilpatrick sold Detroit on his vision of renewal while treating city coffers as his personal slush fund. Mr. X, whoever he truly was, mastered the art of disappearing into identities like a ghost. Each scheme, no matter how different, eroded trust in institutions and connections, leaving society more fractured in its wake. The aftermath of deception often outlasts the scams themselves. Thompson traded political connections for prison time. Kilpatrick's 28-year sentence became a cautionary tale about power's corrupting influence. Romance scammers may evade justice, but they're condemned to lives of constant evasion, their relationships forever transactional. As for Mr. X, his storage locker of forged documents and aliases suggested a man who could be anyone and therefore no one. A life built on lies, no matter how skillfully constructed, becomes its own prison. Protecting ourselves in an era of sophisticated cons requires balancing skepticism with openness. The stories here underscore the importance of questioning too good to be true opportunities while recognizing that not every plea for help is a scam. Healthy skepticism isn't cynicism, it's the filter that separates genuine connection from exploitation. For those who want to delve deeper into the psychology of fraud, Fraud and Fortunes continues to investigate how deception evolves in our digital world. Because the most dangerous lies aren't just the ones we're told, they're the ones we tell ourselves when we ignore the warning signs. In the end, understanding our own vulnerabilities is the best defense against those who would exploit them.